Welcome back everyone to New Mapleton. Today we're continuing with our build of the town of New Mapleton, and some interesting developments have occurred. We've reached our milestone of 11,000 population, which means we got a nice little chunk of change in our bank account. We're still not making a ton of money, and that's going to be a key point for today because we have now 3 really big goals that the board wants to accomplish. First, of course, is our previously stated goal for Earl Dixon of building Arber Gardens into a beautiful botanical garden and oasis. But he now has another goal, which is they're realizing that in the industry, especially in the new office buildings that they've created, they need more educated workers. So they want to build a university. Now this is something that Joceyln is on board with. They're still debating the location. Earl has proposed over here in the newly designated Park Square. Joceyln, on the other hand, would like to see it over in Rosewood Manor. Good access to the highway. There'll eventually be a rail station coming down in here in this area. So that's up for debate, but the real problem is they don't have the money to do it, even if they both agree on where to put it. On top of that, now that we've hit that milestone, Joceyln has the ability to build her dream of a cargo train station to really bring goods in and out of the city, and they've allocated this area for it. They do have some money. They can afford that right now. But because of all the other dreams and ambitions, the board has had to put it to a vote. Because there's a couple other things this city needs. Number one is revenue. Otherwise, they're going to run out of money immediately after they buy some of these things. But they also need a bus depot. Now that they're getting a little bigger, they need to start focusing on public transport, helping people get from one side of the city to the other who don't have cars. So this is a really important build for them. So the board has put it to a vote, and they've decided that they are indeed going to build that bus station, and they're going to build Jocelyn's train station because they really want to connect to the outside world. And then once they've gotten into a better financial situation, if they even need to, they'll take out a loan to build that university to help the industry grow. But fortunately, there was one other board member. Melvin has pointed out that there is a brilliant revenue stream available that they're not taking advantage of, and that's what they're going to do first. And that's to put in a toll road along this highway down here. Put one toll booth here, one toll booth somewhere in this area, maybe down here a bit further, or here, somewhere where they can get power to it, I guess. And they're going to start making some money. Now, they've never built toll booths before. They haven't really done the research because they don't want to spend the money on the research, but hey, let's see what happens. And so you have a 2 and 2-way, and a 4-way. I think we need to go to 2 and 2. We're going to have to shrink the highway down to 2 lanes, which might not be the greatest idea, but we can't really afford to do otherwise. The other option would be to actually put the toll booth here. Not a fan of that idea, because then we miss all the traffic going through. So I think we're just going to bite the bullet and shrink our highway a bit and hope that the traffic isn't too bad. I don't think it is yet. We'll probably have to upgrade these eventually, but for now, it is what it is. Okay, we got our directions right. That looks good. Oh, this is a mess, but it's going to be a severe choke point there. But we did it, and we still have enough money to do the other side. We're going to do it right near this cemetery, so we can get it power more easily. Eventually we'll upgrade this to a large booth, but I think for now we're just going to suffer through and hope that it makes us some money. Okay, let's check our power. Yeah, we're gonna need a little help here. That's okay. All right, there's our toll booth. It looks almost ridiculous because we've just choked up a highway, but we don't have the money to do otherwise. So hopefully this will make us some money and we can afford Joceyln's rail station. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Well, I would say that's a success. We are making money and that's what matters. Let's look at our traffic flow and see if we haven't caused problems. Of course we have. Oh, and we don't have water. So, you know, that's, I guess, a problem. There we go. And we actually need to think ahead on our water, so I think it's time to go ahead and build another pump. Oh. And we're gonna need some sewage treatment, which can only go in one place. And the other thing we need to do is actually, we have 3 incinerators, but we're not really quite able to handle, like we're just barely handling it. So we need one more incinerator and then that'll actually help us empty out our landfills, although they are slowly emptying out, I believe. Let's check that. That one, 81, yeah, it's slowly emptying. I think that's because we're emptying 2 at a time. That one's 70, so it's going a little faster. But we'll need to get rid of that before we can build our train station over here where we want to build it. But first up is the bus terminal. Now we're making a little bit more money, so that's a good thing, and we're still growing. So we can probably do a little zoning here and there without spending too much money. Now I'd like to keep dezoning this area. I don't want to just kick everybody out, that's kind of rude. But I might just kick this guy out. He's kind of seen the writing on the wall by now. So, hi. While we're at it, this guy and this guy. Sorry, guys. We'll pretend we gave him a nice tax and sent him to move elsewhere, but we didn't. That's a lie. I'm keeping these corridors here because eventually I'd like to make this a bit more of a green space. Earl really wants to get this industry out of the center of the city. Oh, we have garbage problems. That's not good. And we can have a bit more office, and then I want to make this whole area and here kind of a big extended green space to break up the offices. We'll have a nice park through the middle with office spaces, and we'll really convert this space from an industrial wasteland into a much nicer kind of downtownish area. Now I think in reality we'd want to actually just go ahead and convert these buildings, you know, reuse the foundations, but the game doesn't do that. Too bad. That's life. Alright, back over to this area. We can do some growing over here though. Along here I think we want a buffer of offices though, because nobody's going to want to live by these giant wind turbines. This is a cool looking pair of buildings. Let's keep these. So I think it's a no-brainer. We definitely have to up our garbage game. We need that fourth incinerator to really get ahead. But let's keep zoning until we get there. Some serious industrial demand. Let's grow this farm a little bit too. I think we can get some more jobs out here. See how we're doing on Parks and Leisure. I think we really need to up our game here. Yeah, we do. People are desperate for some leisure. But we need that incinerator first. Sorry, everybody. Can we fit one over here still? As much as this creates tons of pollution. Now we have a bit more garbage processing status. I'm gonna I've already got this cranked way up to try and empty out those landfills, because then we can get rid of those landfills, and that will be just great. Okay, we're getting some commercial need here. Wouldn't be a terrible idea to actually build some down here. This might be the area we need to expand next, so let's do that. Alright, I think we can afford some leisure. Ooh, building's leveling up like crazy. I really like that little playground by the school. Yeah, let's put a Paradox Plaza here. Paradox Plaza's a good deal, $1,000. Upkeep's a little higher. No, it's lower upkeep, more entertainment. We should build 1 million of these. Still need more industrial. Let's keep growing this farm. I think this farm is ready to grow a bit more. Where's a good place to build some office? Let's check. Coverage. Yeah, that looks good. Fire. Not so good. Probably need a bit of help down here somewhere. Oh, that's weird. This happened before, actually, but I'm not sure what's causing it. Must be some kind of supernatural or paranormal activity, perhaps. Who knows? Now, while all this is going on, something else is happening in Maple Grove. Joceyln Noir's daughter, Erica, has just returned from her trip to Verde Beach. And while she was there, she engaged in some less than upstanding activities and managed to catch a case of some parasite, a bacterial parasite that is very contagious. And she brought it back to New Mapleton. And it turns out that it's deadly. Now, because it originated in Maple Grove, when it hit the news, of course, people started calling it Grovid. I guess Grovid 32, since that's the year it is. But it's really impacted everybody in New Mapleton quite a lot. Almost everybody knows somebody. And so, as kind of a PR branding point, Joceyln decides to build a memorial cemetery over near Noir Park. And she establishes a fund for funeral services for many of the victims. Now, meanwhile, another story is happening. If you remember from the previous episode, we introduced Teddy Hirsch, who had quit working for Joceyln. He was overworked, underappreciated, and initially underpaid. And when one of his buddies died, not of Grovid, just earlier, he built a cemetery and reevaluated his life plan. Now, he caught wind of Grovid, and from some of his friends who were connected to Joceyln, he knew where it came from. But rather than hold it over Jocelyn's head, he decided to think with an entrepreneurial spirit. So he bought a fleet of Hersts and founded Teddy Hirsch's Hersts. And once this wave hit, it really hit hard. It was really a tragedy for New Mapleton. But he managed to get all of his Hersts into action, and here's one we're gonna watch it. So I want to follow him and see what's going on. Is he actually yeah, there they go. There's a casket right there. They're gonna load this guy up and take him. Where are you taking him? So watching this this is a really interesting game mechanic. The Hersts actually has a capacity of 10 bodies, so it drives all over the city and picks up bodies until it's full, and then drives them back to the cemetery. And I can't help but laugh because I'm just imagining them just piling 10 bodies up inside of a Hearst and dropping them off at the cemetery, just like, oh, you know, there's your resting place. So I think it's time to build our bus depot. We've got lots of money. Our death wave seems to have subsided a bit. So we're going to build it over here in what seems to be, to me, a very logical location. So we don't want to build it right off the main road. We want to build it its own little loop-de-loop. Okay, we've now built that depot. Now we need to create some bus lines. So let's think this through. What are the key places people need to get in the city? So we need to get connection from Maple Grove, Arbor Gardens, Farmside Meadows to the jobs, which is all along this road, Riverside Farms, Meadowside Farm, and then of course we want to connect over to the other side of town. So I think a few key locations is, of course, the public library. Now, we're going to build a couple different kinds of lines. This first one is going to be a loop. So it's going to be a one-way line, but it's just going to have two little loops at the end and then follow itself back. So there'll be an area in Maple Grove that's just a loop that only goes one way, and a little area over in kind of near the library. So there's one line. And in Arbor Gardens we'll do two-way lines. We'll just loop from Arbor Gardens to Farmside Meadows. And then we'll actually make a reverse line going the other way around. And we'll naturally have to reevaluate these lines after a little bit, but this will get the city started with two lines on this side, and we'll have a third line that's going to bridge over the river and connect Noir Valley to Maple Grove. There's something wrong with our stops. Oh, yes, we have a big problem. I didn't give water to my bus depot. Which apparently means no buses. There we go, we got buses going out all over the place. All kinds of backed up traffic. Yep, we've caused a traffic jam with our buses, and our buses are all stuck, making them entirely useless. So let's figure what's going on there. Oh, there they go. They're all queuing up. I think we need to probably reduce the number of buses. Let's take this down. Hey, we have some passengers. One passenger. Let's see how much money we're losing on this. some reason, we're making quite a lot of money too. We can bring this down to 8%. Oh, goody. Now, Grovid has mostly been under control. There's still a few standout cases, but the doctors have been working overtime at the medical center. They've been hailed as heroes in all this, preventing the outbreak from really wiping out too much of the city. And because New Mapleton is continuing to grow, it's time to expand Park Square. Now, the philosophy that Earl has for this neighborhood is he wants to have a big, beautiful park right in the middle of it. Give everybody that green space and kind of respect these woods here a little bit. But he wants to build some higher density residential, but he wants it a little more spread out. There'll be some high density, maybe make a couple grids here, but it wants to make sure there's plenty of trees. So I think in the next episode, as we grow this further, we'll add some more trees, make it really just a beautiful place to live for lots of people as we grow. So we can allow for growth, but not overdo it. We don't have to pack everything into a tight grid. Nobody really wants to live that way. Okay, looks like we've got a bit more money, so let's go take a look and see if that landfill is empty yet. Indeed it is. Very good. Okay. So now Joceyln is pushing for that cargo train terminal. So we'll delete this and upgrade the roads. And she's, of course, hired her Benson Architects as a contractor to come and develop this area. So they're going to build a nice road to go around off the main road here. Now, space is a little tight, so we'll have to think ahead in the future how to use the other side. Maybe we'll do a double train terminal, one on this side, one on the other side. When we expand, we'll probably need to buy this land parcel next to Noir Valley here in the near future. Or I guess this is Station Shores as well. And it looks like the train station is 45,000, but we only have 30. So I guess the story behind that could be that Joceyln got an initial estimate on the cargo terminal at 30,000 money, but then when it actually came time to build, the contractor came back and said, how about 45? And this, of course, caused a problem in the board. There was some fighting, there was some anger. Earl was gonna really let Joceyln have it, but he's been using her developer, Benson Architects, to grow Park Square. So he cut a deal with her and said, hey, why don't we build the Botanical Garden to honor Agnes Arber in the meantime? And because the city's making a bit more revenue, she agreed. So Earl, being the excitable and happy person that he is, said, yeah, let's do it. And now we are building the Agnes Arber Botanical Garden. And everybody's very happy about this. So I think we'll have an episode dedicated just to really filling this out with all of the amenities as we build this neighborhood. But for right now, with all this extra money, Earl said, hey, let's upgrade some roads. We've been driving on these dirt roads for so long. New Mapleton is really getting some new polish, so to speak. So because the city is growing so rapidly, Joceyln has convinced the board to outsource a number of the city's needs, including power. So they outsource to a company called Free Air that builds wind energy for the city. They monitor the grid and should be building it as needed. So they're a little behind, so that's created some tension in the board, but they've been making money, and now they have enough to build Jocelyn's cargo station. So as much as Earl would love to hold the power company over her head, they need this cargo station, so it's time to go ahead and build it. So we're gonna have to make kind of a wonky connection for now, but that's okay. A few more office buildings here. And that ought to be enough, and we'll let that build while we give it some water. All right, and just like that, we've got our train terminal. Jocelyn's very happy. I think our garbage is under control. We can actually get rid of another landfill, which we're going to do right now. And that means we can start to empty the other landfill. And I think everybody's pretty happy right now here in town. Got a little bit of a water problem here. Let's check that out. And New Mapleton is really shaping out now. We've got a transport system, we've got a cargo terminal, we've got toll booths. Next up will be a university. I think that's going to happen in our next episode. Until then, keep making it till you make it.